Hello there and welcome along to another Let the Geek Speak Flipchart Friday video. It's David Duffett here, and as you perhaps know, I record these videos especially to help you make your presentations even better. So we consider all sorts of aspects of presentations, from the planning and preparation for a presentation to the practicing and performance of the presentation, all the way through to the post-event follow-up that you might do after a presentation. We've got all the bases covered, and you can find other videos in the Let the Geek Speak YouTube channel. So go along there, click on subscribe. You could even click on the little bell there to be notified when new videos come along. But let's get to the matter in hand. Today's subject is questions from the audience. So we're not talking about questions that you're going to use to your audience, presentational tools, training techniques and things like that. We're not talking about those questions. We dealt with those in another video. So you can go and find it. It's actually called Questions of the Answer. So you can go and look for that in the YouTube channel called Let the Geek Speak. No, this video is all about questions from the audience. Now, due to the flipchart technology I'm employing here, I can't reveal what each of the letters means in terms of the word in the acronym hardly. And so if it's all right with you, what I'm going to do is reveal all of them at once, but then I will talk through them one at a time. Is that okay? Great. Okay, let's go for it. So as you can see, a very, very beautiful collection of words there. And the first thing you've got to do for anybody that asks the question from your audience is honour them. Honour that person that asked the question. Thank them. Reward them. Give them a little verbal pat on the back. You really want to welcome questions, because if you greet a question with anything less than great enthusiasm, you could potentially kind of turn off other people in the audience that were planning to ask a question later. So always, always honour the person that asked the question. Reward the person that asked the question, even if it's a question you didn't particularly want. You should still honour the person that asked it. The next thing to do is, if you feel it's a genuine question that needs a genuine answer and you know the answer, then answer it. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've been asked a question, answer it and move on. Now, the reason I said if you feel it's a genuine question is that while this may come as a bit of a surprise to you, not every single question that is asked from your audience to you is a genuine question requiring an answer from you. No. Some of these questions may actually be a request for the spotlight, if you like, from an audience member that's got something to contribute. Maybe they've got a story or some experience to contribute. Maybe they're a bit of an expert in the subject that you're talking about. And the more you do these presentations, the more you can twig, the more you can read the situation. And so if you do feel that it's a bit of a request for the spotlight and you've got time to allow that all to happen, you can say, yeah, thanks for the question, Bill. It's a great question. What do you think? You can reflect the question back to the asker. So when you think that the questioner is actually wanting the spotlight and is going to contribute something, then reflect it back to them, kind of play the game. And it may well be that your presentation is even better as a result of that person's contribution. Now, let's imagine that you feel it's not that, it is a genuine question. You don't know the answer, so you're not going to just answer it. The other thing you could do is deflect it back to the rest of the audience. So you could say, look, Jim's asked this question. What does everybody else think? Anybody got any particular experience in this area? Let the audience answer the question, because there's usually a lot of experience in the audience, some amazing people, and there could well be people that know the subject even better than you. As I've said, as a professional presenter, it's not your job to know everything about everything. You're just there as a facilitator, as a presenter. So you could deflect it back to the audience. Now, let's imagine it's a genuine question, so you're not going to reflect it. Maybe you don't want to deflect it. You could say, yeah, that is a very insightful question. Actually, I don't know the answer. I'll come back to you later, maybe after the presentation with that, if that's okay. And audience members will respect that. They'll respect your honesty in saying, yeah, I don't know the answer, but I can find out for you. Now, there's a couple of other laters that you can use as well. Here's the first one. Now, if Jim asked the question and you actually feel that answering this question could kind of derail the part of the presentation you're on and distract other people in the audience, then say, look, Jim, that's a great question and I do want to answer it, but I'm going to answer it later on if that's okay. And Jim will nod his head and you can carry on. The other time when you use the later, very legitimately, is when Mary asks a question and you know actually the answer to her question is contained in your presentation. You know, it's about 10 minutes down the line from where you are now. So you can say, thanks for that question, Mary. I'm sure it's a question that other people have got as well. So thank you for articulating it. As it happens, it's going to be covered in about 10 minutes time. So do you mind if we leave it until then? And when we get there, I'll check in with you to make sure. And of course, if you've got any other questions, you know, you can ask those as well. So you can use the later. But here's the thing, whatever you do, remember, it's all about you and your responsibility in dealing with these questions. So don't kind of bat them away in an unenthusiastic manner. If you honour the asker, answer it if you can, reflect it if it's a request for the spotlight, deflect it to the rest of the audience if you don't know the answer, or delay it till later for whatever reason, then you're dealing with it well. But do remember, it is your responsibility. You have to take the cake and deal with it. Okay, that's a little look at answering or dealing with questions from your audience, a very important part of making presentations and keeping the continuity of presentations going. Look, I enjoy talking to you about presentations. As I said, there's more videos that you can find in the Let the Geek Speak YouTube channel. But for now, let me say this. It's been a pleasure talking to you about the concept of dealing with questions from your audience. It's been a pleasure going into the nitty-gritty of how you can deal with the individual questions. But, as I always like to say, the real pleasure will come for you when you implement these tools and techniques and thus reap the rewards of being a geek that can speak. Thank you.